you very much for the kind introduction, Professor Smith. My name is Coetsee, as you can see, and believe it or not, this diminutive blonde woman sitting in the front here is my mother. Thank you for coming out so early in the morning in this wonderful Cape Town weather to come and listen to us share part of our passion this morning. Our discussion will be on Mogalakwena craft art, which is our family business, and how we use social entrepreneurship to help social development in the Limpopo Tribal Trust Land, now known as the Bloberg Municipality, in remote rural northwestern Limpopo. Unfortunately, Africa has become synonymous with three horrible words: poverty, war and crime, and AIDS. Just look at the statistics. 25 million people of the world's 40 million people who are HIV positive live in Africa. In sub-Saharan Africa, 6,600 AIDS-related deaths occur every single day. In South Africa, we know it's situated in one of the world's worst performing economic areas. There are three main structural problems or inhibitors of economic growth or development in South Africa. First, inadequate infrastructure. Secondly, and almost most importantly, the insufficient investment in human capital. Finally, it's also the impact of HIV and AIDS. Basically, what he's speaking about is social entrepreneurship. It's defined as the transformation of socially and environmentally responsible ideas into products and services. And that's what we'll be discussing today. This is known as the triple bottom line approach, and that's what we're focused on: the financial aspect, the social aspects, and the environmental aspects. What we've done is just added the last one, and that's without compromising our principles. Finally, Prahalad also says that a critical change that needs to be made when viewing the developing world is to stop thinking of the poor as victims or as a burden. Only when they are recognized as resilient and creative entrepreneurs and value-conscious consumers will a whole new world of opportunity open up. Now that I've set the scene, I'd like to hand over to my mother, and she will discuss the story of Mogalakwena craft art.
What does Mogalakwena craft art mean? Mogalakwena is the name of a significant river in the Limpopo Province. And it's also the river that runs between Mogalakwena craft art village and the villages where the craft art women live, who come and work at the village. And then it's also, the word is a metaphor for fierce crocodile. Kwena obviously means crocodile, and Mogala coals, so fierce crocodile. Since the beginning of Mogalakwena craft art, we valued regard for all individuals that we interact with, respect for all individuals that we come into contact with, different cultures. It doesn't matter your background, the way you eat, what you eat, how you live. We have respect for one another's culture. And then our business approach is focused on synergy and also being ethical and trustworthy. And although I was fortunate to travel the world and also experience craft art across the world, I did not have the vision more than 15 years ago that I would direct and manage a craft art project on this scale. If I can do it, any of you can do it. In the art world, it is an accolade to have your works in a permanent collection.
I'd just like to take a few minutes of your time to discuss what I've learned on the MBA and how we started to apply this at Mogalakwena craft art, and maybe contextualize some of the story that you just heard in business terms. Over the 15 years that Mogalakwena craft art has been established, our focus, our strategic focus, has moved from our products, beaded and all these other products that you can see, to a focus on the place, the craft art gallery in Cape Town, the craft art village up in Limpopo as well, and exhibitions that we exhibit. And finally, a shift of focus to people. The focus changed to the customer experience, sharing of culture between artists and the craft artists and the local community, and customizing our offering to our target segments. The overarching theme has always been social development, and that hasn't changed. Our product strategy, our core product is functional or craft art, and it's augmented by three features. Firstly, the fact that it's handmade. Secondly, the fact that it's limited quantities. Each work is basically unique. And thirdly, the fact that it's such so culturally relevant. It's Northern Sotho culture, but South African in general. And our brand differentiator then is social development. I'm sure most of you would know the generic competitive forces, the generic competitive strategy, and here we can see how Mogalakwena interacts in this industry. On the horizontal axis, we've got the degree of differentiation. On the vertical axis, our target market, and all these other orange dots are other producers. And you can see that Mogalakwena is focused, has a focused differentiation strategy. We try to differentiate our product so we don't just compete on price. Our differentiation strategy is based on a high cost, high quality of product and service. Because in this industry, price is a reflection of quality. And it drives the demand. Our delivery model started with a craft art village in Limpopo, and our demand was just to that one channel. In 2005, we started using third-party retailers, and products went to consumers through that channel as well. In 2008, we opened the craft art gallery in Cape Town, and products obviously went through there as well to our three target segments, which are high-end tourists, usually international tourists, corporate buyers and interior designers, and finally, gallery buyers and collectors. Then to come to blue ocean strategy. Now, those of you, I see there are quite a few students in the room that have studied here at Stellenbosch know what blue ocean strategy is. For the rest of us, blue ocean strategy is a book written by famous strategists W. Chan Kim and Renee Mulborn. And it's focused on avoiding competing in highly competitive, diminishing, or overpopulated markets, what they refer to as red oceans, and focusing or pursuing uncontested market space by differentiating the value offered by the product or service, and thus creating a blue ocean. And this is also done to make competition irrelevant by looking across the current industry boundaries and using a process called value innovation, which I'll discuss just now. What we've done at Mogalakwena is try to implement this as well as possible. And this is the concept of value innovation that I mentioned to you earlier. It's focused on reducing costs and simultaneously increasing buyer-defined value to reach what's called value innovation. One of the tools we've used to do this is called the ERRC grid, and it's basically just a tool to look at what actions or aspects of the business should be eliminated, reduced, raised, and created. I won't go through all that in detail now, but what this basically has come down to for us are three key strategic themes focused on reducing the costs. The first one is increasing the number of proficient staff to ensure the economies of scale are reached and operational efficiencies are achieved. Secondly, to reduce our product width and increase the depth of products. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have really afterwards. Thirdly, to increase the production capabilities by developing infrastructure and making transport more efficient. I think I've brought the point across of why that's necessary. Then three aspects of increasing buyer value. Firstly, to develop and implement a strategic marketing strategy. You'll be surprised to hear that Mogalakwena Craft Art has never had a marketing strategy. All marketing has happened through word of mouth or through press releases. Secondly, to increase the customization of our products and the relationship or interaction with the clients. Now, we found that this is a core strength for us, so to focus on that more. And finally, to increase our social development initiatives, and more importantly, to effectively communicate these to our consumers. Our growth strategy, which is Blue Ocean strategy, is focused on following a sequential process of the different marketing strategies. Firstly, market penetration, by selling our current offering in our current markets. At the moment, that's various centers throughout South Africa, but mainly in Limpopo and Cape Town. Next, to follow a product development strategy, which means to sell new products to our current markets. Thirdly, market development, and that's where we are now, to sell our current offering in new markets. And we've started doing that in some centers in the US and Europe. And finally, diversification, to sell new products to new geographic locations. And after that, to start at market penetration again and carry on through that cycle. So to summarize our Blue Ocean strategy, our clear focus is to offer high quality products and services which add sustainable social development value to the community. Our divergent value curve is based on differentiating the offering by focusing on the triple bottom line plus one initiatives that we mentioned earlier. And our tagline is unique, high-quality South African craft art, handmade by rural communities. Basically, to summarize everything here, it means we would like to try to change this vicious downward spiral into sustainable social development. What that means is currently we have social deterioration, which leads to unemployment, poverty, and crime, which leads to lower economic growth, reduced buying power, and economic challenges for South Africa, or for Limpopo, for South Africa, and Africa as a whole. We would like to try and change this negative cycle into a positive, affirming cycle of improving our business practices, thereby creating demand for our products, obviously increasing our revenue, allowing us to employ more people and increase their income, which hopefully leads to social development and individual empowerment. And hopefully this cycle can carry on and build on itself. A final thought is a quote which I think is very apt from our former President Nelson Mandela, and I'll just read it for you. I am convinced that our region and our continent have set out along a new road of lasting peace, democracy, and social and economic development. The time has come for Africa to take full responsibility for her woes and use the immense collective wisdom it possesses to make a reality of the ideal of the African Renaissance, whose time has come.
And then a final thought I would like to share with you, and that is that empowerment is a one-way process. Many people come to me and say, you must feel so good for what you do for these women, or the women must really be grateful for what you're doing for them. And I say to them, I am thankful for what the women are doing to me, what they have meant to me. If it wasn't for Kate Maputla, Sina Matikitela, Regina Baloka, and all the other girls, I wouldn't have been standing here. So I say to them, Kia liboga and mudimu abelelela.